I love reading and I love writing, but I do not make enough time to actually sit and read, and I haven't written anything in such a long time that I thought, let's do a vlog where that is all I do. Let's have some fun.
Good morning. It is Monday morning. It is 9:30 a.m. and I just went out for a run and I showered and now I'm tired. But that doesn't stop me from making a vlog type video. Today I'm gonna be reading, I'm gonna be writing. I really just want to play a video game, but I gotta get work done. So we might as well just do a video. Nasty glasses. I'm not going to be writing anything new. I'm going to be reviewing something that I read before. We'll talk about that in a second. But I want to talk about the book that I'm reading, The Midnight Library. I got about 100 pages left. We might get through that today. I don't know. I got a lot to do. I got so much to do. But yeah, I'm going to be reading this today. I'm going to be honest, I'm not really enjoying this. Every time I get to a point where I'm like, oh, that's really cool, I'm really enjoying this, it just gets cut off immediately. And it's such a waste because it definitely has potential. The concept is so cool, but it's just not it. I didn't even tell you what this story is about. The Midnight Library is a story about Nora, who is depressed. She has a life that she thinks is no longer worth living. It's probably good for you to check the trigger warnings in that case. However, when she eventually decides that, yes, it's time to move on, she ends up in this library, the Midnight Library, which is kind of like a place between being alive and being dead. This is where she learns about every single regret in her life, and she then is allowed to make a choice. Which regret would you like to undo? Basically, your life consists of choices, right? I decided to film right now rather than this afternoon, which makes it that my life has two completely separate lives. My life could look very, very different now because of this choice of me filming this morning rather than this afternoon. And that's kind of what this book is about. Every choice that she's made her life go in a completely different direction. So she could go, okay, I want the life where I continued being a swimmer, and she goes to live that life. I want the life where I went to Australia, and she goes to live that life. And it kind of goes on like that for a while, and I'm pretty sure that very early on, I already realized what the eventual, the point of the book was going to be, how it's going to end. I'm not sure, of course, if that's what it's going to be. However, I'm not really feeling it yet. It feels very much the same. A lot of it is the same. Currently, the chapter that I'm currently in, which I won't spoil what it's about, what she's going through, but it kind of feels pointless. There's a moment of happiness in the character's life, Nora's life, and that's all that I feel like adds to the plot of the story. Like, it makes sense for that to be an important feeling, but at the same time, I don't feel like it adds anything. It feels like this story is nearly 300 pages long, and it could have been way shorter. We're gonna see. I'm gonna read later on. I'm gonna get to writing first, but I'm just saying I don't know if I'll like it. I'm even surprised that I'm thinking of finishing it. I just want to get to my next books. Alright. Let's get to writing though. I gotta get started. Yeah. So, for the writing, my sister has been reading my next book, and it's very, very slowly. But she found a mistake somewhere. She doesn't remember where exactly, but she found a mistake pretty early on. So, that's what I gotta do now. I gotta try and find that. I gotta fix that. Yes. So, I haven't looked at my book in a couple of months because it has been finished for a couple of months. And I decided to take a break from it because I kind of wanted to find a way to get more eyes on the story, but I haven't found anyone interested in publishing it or representing it. It got a little complicated and I just wanted to focus on other things. I haven't written anything in a little while, but we're gonna get to it. Let's go read this. Let's go read the first few chapters and see what the problem is, because I don't know. Yeah, let's put on some music and lock in. Lock in, as they say, right? Eyes open. Alarm turned off. Friday, March 25th. Again. It's been 3 weeks of exactly that. Chapter 1 so far, no mistakes. I like that. I still like that. Several months later, it's been 3 months. Now, before I do chapter 2, let me talk about why I read this out loud. Why do I read this out loud to find my mistakes or to change things? Well, honestly, it's a really useful way to do exactly that, to find your mistakes, to find the flow, to see if the flow is fine, if it works with the story you're trying to tell. My character, Thomas, he's a selfish person. He's an anxious person. But he's also, he's trying. So he's a little all over the place. And his way of thinking, his way of talking, definitely shows that, in my opinion. So I have to make sure that when I read, that things fits in that certain style that I'm thinking. But like I said, it also helps with mistakes. When you're reading out loud, you're much more aware of the words because you're not reading over them. You're not skipping lines because you see something already ahead of what's coming, So reading it out loud makes me actually process every line properly, and that way it's like you're reading to someone, and it'll be way easier to catch mistakes that way. I'm not gonna do that for the entire book today, but because my sister said that there's a mistake somewhere in the first few chapters, I'm assuming 1, 2, or 3. Now I gotta read those. Maybe she made a mistake. Who knows? She was reading They Both Die at the end, and she was convinced that there was a mistake in there. And I read it, and I was like, no, I think you're wrong. I think you just read it wrong. Alright, yeah, let's go. Chapter 2. I found it! I found the mistake! Just music, quiet, music. There we go. It took me only 17 tries. The mistake. I found the mistake. I don't wanna spoil too much, right? But this is the intro. It's fine. I'll show you. So we have this line here. Can I show you? Is that a thing? Still in my boxers, I tiptoe over the floor, around the piles of trash and socks that will probably be lost somewhere between realities, like all socks, until I reach my ugly wooden chair that was way probably older than me, and my matching wooden chair. Last time I checked, that's not English. It should be until I reach my ugly wooden desk that was probably way older than me. Not that was way probably older than me. I found the mistake. Let's go. Okay. Awesome. Let me fix that. And then finish the rest of the chapter. And then move on to reading. Maybe do some editing. I also gotta edit. We'll figure it out. Let's continue. Yep. Alright. Let's do it. Hopefully without falling asleep. I usually read this right before I go to bed, so let's see how that goes. Another chapter that kind of just, I don't know, it was getting good and then it wasn't. I hate this. There's this part of me, right? This character, she's obviously going into all kinds of lives she doesn't know. She doesn't know anything about this life and kind of just has to assume as she goes. That means that something she doesn't know, but she doesn't stay in character. She doesn't accept that these people know, how do I say this? She's in this life, and she wants to know about something. But to the previous version of her in that life, that something was normal. That Nora already knew that. But this Nora is like, I don't know, I gotta ask these questions. And everyone's like, why are you acting so weird? And it just makes me cringe. Like, it makes sense. Of course you would have to ask those questions. But this woman was on a podcast. Millions of people are probably gonna be watching that or listening to that or whatever. And she just asks, like, a really important question. Yes, for sure. But part of me is like, Google when you've got time to yourself. Is that too obvious? I don't know. It's, the concept is really good. I do not like it. Also, I'm reading this song right now. Who wants to read a song? Because I cannot hear what the writer had in mind. This just doesn't work. I don't know. Can you even see me? Yeah. Part of me just doesn't want to finish this, but another part of me is like, it's only 100 pages. I'm so close. I'll continue it. I gotta work. I gotta do some editing, but I'll continue it. I'll see you guys when I get back to reading later. Okay, some time has passed, and I finished The Midnight Library. Let me tell you, I did not like this book. I think I gave it 2.5 stars, mostly because of the last, 10 chapters. I should probably add that every chapter is like 1 to 5 pages long. I did not really like this. The ending was good. Every single part that took place in the Midnight Library was actually really good, really interesting, really fun. But the part where Nora lives different lives felt so incredibly pointless, because very early on in the story I already guessed how it was going to end, because it's not that hard to predict. But it's also that very early on in the story Nora has some kind of epiphany that makes her realize something very important about herself that is already such a big part of her character's growth, that it's like, why did we go through all of this other stuff when we don't have to? We already know how it's going to end. One of the final few chapters just made me go, if it ends like this could actually be super interesting. That would be a surprise. But then the further I got, I was like, yeah, that's not happening. It is definitely going in the direction that I expected it to. Also, my voice is tired. So that's why I sound like this. But the Midnight Library, I don't know, the concept is so cool. Just the idea of having so many regrets in your life and then living those regrets. Living your life as if you never made the decision that led to you regretting that. That's super cool. But I did not like the execution. Like I said, everything that took place in the Midnight Library is awesome. The mystery behind it, the things that, like you start learning the rules of how things work. It's just very interesting to learn about how things work. And then the execution of the actual lives she tries to live is just not interesting. I did not like it. Because, like I said, it felt pointless. I liked the ending. I think the ending was really good. But the story itself just sucked. I did not like it. So that's why I gave it 2.5 stars. And while I was super excited about this story and another story by Matt Haig who wrote it, I will most likely not be reading any of his books again. So there's that. Afterwards, I continued reading The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. I read like 1 or 2 stories. They're like 10 to 30 page stories. I bought this one in Italy, by the way, and it's so pretty. I love it so much. I'm gonna be reading 1 or 2 stories, and then I'm going to switch to my next book, which will be the 3rd book in the Natural series. I'm super excited about that. My love for Criminal Minds turned into a book is just perfect. I hope you all enjoyed this reading and writing vlog, and this is something new, something different. I don't know, let me know what you guys think. I will also gladly be doing more analysis kind of videos, I suppose, where I talk about stories. That's gonna be fun. Alright, thank you all for watching. See you next time.